What's good, everyone? Alijah Terrace here with another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And what means always my buddy, my coach, my pal, the man with a plan, the guy who's ready for the green and white to take the field again. And this time, wipe the freaking field with the New England Patriots. You know who it is. My guy, John Meleka. What up, John? How you doing today?
Oh, man. I don't know if I have all that confidence going into the home opener, but I am hella excited for that game. I'll be there at the MetLife parking lot early in the morning. We have some nice weather on Sunday. I'm excited for Billy B to go against a rookie quarterback, but he's also sporting a rookie quarterback, man. It's going to be exciting, actually. It's going to be exciting at MetLife.
It definitely is going to be exciting at MetLife. And we got a phenomenal guest with us today to get into the famous New York-Boston rivalry, Jets versus Patriots. You know what it is. We got Shukri Wrights on the podcast with us. He's a national sports radio broadcaster for Pacifica Radio Network. He's also a Boston radio sports personality for 91.5 WFMO, as well as 100.1 FM WBRS. He also is the host of Shukri Wrights podcast, which you can find on iHeart and Odyssey. And he's also a writer for the Boston Bruins for the fan-sided network site, Causeway Crowd. Shu, how are you doing today, my man?
Thank you for having me on, Alex and John. It's a pleasure to be on the podcast. And I have to correct you, John. I hate to be the bad news, but Belichick is also facing a rookie head coach in Robert Saleh. So with that being said, talk about getting the floor mopped. I mean, you talk about mopping trash in the middle of Meadowlands on Sunday. So I look forward to scraping up scraps on Sunday as the Patriots. They're going to be looking to get their first win against the Jets team, whose offensive line is as choppy as the Hudson River over at MetLife Stadium. So it's going to be a good game.
It's like a real spicy coming off an L to Tua.
Keep that same energy. Listen, I blame Damian Harris for that loss. I mean, I'm not sorry, but he's not the only reason why the Patriots lost on Sunday. But I'm blaming him for that drive-killing fumble that absolutely dashed any chance the Patriots could have had of taking a lead, or even at worst tying the game. But they were only down by 1 point. Only down by 1 point. All you had to do was just take care of the ball. But
come on, man, that's all you had to do was take care of the ball.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, you can catch this L, and as well as Damian Harrison, you can catch this L as well. But the defense in the first half did not play well, and it's a game you have to win, especially when your rookie quarterback making his NFL regular season debut has to absolutely win that game, and he played well. But there were other issues. But as far as the Jets go, I pray y'all don't ruin Zach Wilson as much as y'all ruin Mark Sanchez, but that's another story for another day.
Yo, don't worry about the Jets, man. You have to sit. You're 0-1. You lost against Tua. You're already blaming running backs. You're already blaming random guys. Let's talk about your rookie quarterback, Mac Jones. All right. I know you want to skip over him, right? I wouldn't want to talk about him either if I were you. But
I actually would because he looked a lot better than Zach Wilson. That BYU kid.
Let's keep it on your side.
Yes, he did.
Let's keep it on your side.
You said you want a hot take, so I'm giving you a hot take. So you want a hotter than a bacon, egg, and cheese in the morning, right? So
that is hotter. That definitely is because it's wrong. So that's definitely a hot take.
It's definitely not wrong when you consider that you had Zach Wilson running for his freaking life. He had no offensive line against our Panthers pass rush that looked like the New York Giants pass rush of 2007. For God's sakes, I mean,
I agree.
Like, come on,
McGovern looked tough, man. Our center really got his butt handed to him, as well as GVR, our right guard. It wasn't pretty. The fact that the linebacker switched out numbers, but dude, you just can't get ruined like that.
Mm-hmm.
AVT, our left guard, he was able to. He had a couple of mistakes, but if you watch the tape, I mean, he had some really, really, really good plays out there. But I'm not going to let you get away with this, man. I need you to talk about your quarterback, right? Your quarterback, your franchise guy, Mac Jones, right? I know you want to talk about Zach Wilson. If I were you, I would also want to talk about Zach Wilson.
Wow, what?
But let's just keep it on McCorkle, your boy McCorkle over here, Mac Jones, the second coming of Tom Brady, right? Mm-hmm. What did you have to say about his week one? Right, the kid from Alabama, Saban, Belichick, it's perfect. Tell me about week one, man. The L to Tua.
I was at the game on Sunday, so I saw everything live in color, and I really like what I saw from Mac Jones. The first thing that I really liked was his poise. When he was being pressured by the Miami Dolphins pass rush, which is it's a really good defense, by the way. This is no, pushover. I mean, this is a defense that's coached by a guy that was the defensive coordinator here in New England in 2018, and that was in Brian Flores. And even with whatever that they threw at Mac Jones, he was able to maintain his composure, which really was the most impressive thing of it all. And I really, really like what I saw in terms of his ability to get the ball out quickly. You need to be able to do that and to be able to stand in the pocket, and I've heard it throughout the entire summer. He's a lot like Tom Brady and so forth. I'm like, listen, Boston sports media, I've lived in Boston now approaching 5 years, so I know this sports media market extremely well. Mm-hmm. Stop pumping his effing brakes so early before you ruin this kid. Let him be himself. But you're seeing the similarities, because I get it. This New England region, this Boston market is so horny for another Tom Brady-like quarterback. Let's be completely honest.
He ain't walking through that door. I'm sorry to break it to you.
He's not, and you can blame Belichick for that, but that's neither here or there. But as far as Mac Jones is concerned,
good old Billy B.
Oh yeah, good old Billy B and his ego. Let me know how that worked last year when you had freaking Cam Newton 7-9 and all. Like you thought he was going to bring him back this year and think that crap was going to fly here. Heck no. But I digress. Back to Mac Jones though. Another thing that I really did like was his command at the line of scrimmage, because when you watch rookie quarterbacks across the NFL, you could see which rookie quarterbacks have that poise, that calmness. They're not rattled. They're not afraid to change the audible at the line of scrimmage when they see that the defense, you see that, oh, Mike linebacker is over on the strong side. He might be a guy that be dropping into coverage. Let me change the play call. Mac Jones had that poise. And my issue with Mac Jones from the game on Sunday was this. It was a minor one at that. Man, he had his first career touchdown pass to Nelson Aguilar. He didn't want to take the touchdown ball. Now, I get the whole thing about wanting to be team first, and all of that is impressive and all, but can you please live in the moment, because you're not going to get that again. There's not going to be another first NFL touchdown. That came in pass already in your first NFL regular season game. But all in all, I really thought that Mac Jones, overall, he played a good game. He was not great, but he played a good game.
Okay. See, on this side, we're actually happy with what Zach Wilson did against the Carolina Panthers, because sure, we can talk about the first half, which was ugly. You could have thought that Adam Gase was still coaching this team. But guess what? Once he came out in the second half, 14-3 is what happened against the Carolina Panthers. We were right in striking distance that if we got the onside ball back, I had the faith that Zach Wilson would have marched down that field and showed Sam Darnold that he's a way better quarterback than him. We saw the poise from Zach Wilson, even with getting 5 guys in his face every single day, whether it was rolling out right, rolling out left, finding guys on the move, getting an end zone touchdown. When he finds Corey Davis for a 35-yard bomb,
that was beautiful. That was a thing of beauty.
Beautiful toss. Mm-hmm. And then when he finds him again, he has the zip, he has the strength, he has the accuracy. He needs an offensive line. We know we don't have an offensive line, but it did get a little bit better once Mekhi Becton. And the reason for that, Mekhi Becton wasn't practicing the last 2 weeks. So once we move Font to the left side, things started to stabilize. Do we have the greatest offensive line? No, but I like the poise for having 5 guys in your face every single day, like every single down, essentially for Zach Wilson. So, I'm confident that he's going to be a really good quarterback too. I think for a guy who has absolutely nothing, like except for wide receivers, maybe okay running backs and no offensive line, he showed that I got game. So I'm happy with that. And that's why I stand with what John says, that we got the best quarterback in this NFL draft.
Well, I mean, we definitely have a couple of years to, decide that. And we especially week 1, based on your criteria, with the poise, Zach Wilson did get hit, a total of 6 times. And one time, in his words, it felt like he got hit by a truck. And it looked like he got hit by a truck. And he came out there and he was poised. And even Corey Davis gave him props this week about that too. So we love that about him. And he came out second half and absolutely killed it. We shut down Carolina in the second half. Don't get it twisted. I know it looked bad, watching your red zone, in the first half, right? 16-0. And then you saw that, Sam Darnold to Robbie Anderson, the old guys from the Jets. It looks terrible, right? 6 sacks. Like everything looks awful. But we were right back in that game and we shut them down. And they have the best offensive player in the league in C-Mac, and he absolutely tore us up. I don't think Carolina is that good. I think we made them look good in the first half, but that's neither here nor there. We're really here because, Mac Jones is not really going up against Zach Wilson. Mac Jones is going up against our defense, and Zach Wilson is going to go up against the Patriots defense. So let's really take it from there because that's really what I'm interested in. So let's talk about the Patriots defense, right? Let's stay on the lines. What did you think about your D-line, right? Because, the Patriots secondary is supposed to be the Patriots defense in general, right? That's supposed to be their strength. We know what's going on with Gilmore, or not really, but we know something, he's not there. Something's happening. But we always assume that your front seven is going to be top 10. Okay. I don't really love the D-line. You guys did great against Miami. Yes. But it's just Tua, right? I'm surprised that you guys lost that game in general. The last time you guys played him, you held him down to under 150 yards. You didn't get really anything much. I was expecting that type of game, but the D-line doesn't look that stout. Like, what are your thoughts on just the first game, just from the Patriots defense, but specifically, their front seven?
Well, my thoughts is that the defense didn't play horrible. They were good, but they gave up some real opportunistic plays to the Miami Dolphins offense at times. In fact, the reality of the situation in terms of the Dolphins were they took advantage of opportunities that they were given by the Patriots defense, especially in that first half, because it was the first half that you saw that Tua was able to move that ball down the field. He was able to make those key throws to Parker on the outside, and as well as be able to be able to run the ball, like at times and in key situations of during that first half, and even at times in the second half. But the thing I look at when the Patriots take the field defensively is the defensive line, as you talked about. My biggest worry was going to be, how was Christian Barmore going to look in his first NFL regular season game? You're not going up against 3s and 4s. You're going up against 1s, and there's a difference. There's a reason why I'm a big proponent of when you are playing in a regular season game versus a preseason game, there's a difference. And it's not just only the calendar that we're talking about. You're going against the starters, the best of the best. How do you respond? Barmore at times looked like he was getting chewed up by the Miami Dolphins run game.
Yep.
And that Kyle Van Noy, Dante Hightower, they had to make plays when needed to make, or when the running back was able to get into that second level. So by and large part, I think that the linebacking core is going to be fine. Matt Judon looked terrific.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved him coming off the edge, coming off the line, be able to make plays when he needs to make plays. And he's going to need to make those plays come Sunday. But I do wonder this, though. If you're Belichick and you're looking at tape this week of the Jets, of this offense, I do wonder, what is he going to be looking at the most? What is he going to be looking to exploit? Because all he has is one game of quote unquote a film to look at in terms of Zach Wilson. So I feel like in some ways, although Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach coming from the 49ers, you don't know what you're going to have or what you're going to get in terms of both defenses, because they're going to be facing a question mark in Mac Jones. Who is this guy? That in the Patriots defense, they're going to be facing a question mark in terms of Zach Wilson. What can he do? What are some of his strengths? What are his weaknesses? And both defenses are going to be looking to exploit the offense on both teams this upcoming Sunday.
I agree with that 100%. And I think with that question mark, and I'll go to Belichick being good against rookies. He has a very good record against rookie quarterbacks. So, and Belichick is, we already know, a Hall of Fame head coach once everything's said and done. It's no question about it.
But how many times has he had a rookie quarterback himself?
Yeah, but I'm not. We're not talking about the overall team. We're just talking. We're just talking about defense right now. We're just talking about the Patriots defense and how they would take it and how I think the Jets would go at it. Okay, so if I'm looking at the Patriots side, the way that because Belichick's whole thing is we're going to take out the top guy of that team, regardless of the quarterback, wide receiver, running back. We got to shut them down and make them work with what they got. You know, we get Crowder back. We're supposed to get Keelan Cole back. We don't know the repertoire necessarily with Zach Wilson and those two guys, but we do know what Corey Davis did last week, getting the 2 touchdowns, close to 100 yards. So I can only imagine that Bill Belichick is looking at that saying, all right, so let's stop Corey Davis first. Let's make that the number one priority, because we saw that the Panthers defense was able to stop the run game. We know that the Jets don't have a great offensive line. So it's putting pressure on the quarterback and putting your best corner on Corey Davis. That's what I'm thinking right now for the Patriots defensive side.
Because
for the Jets,
I'm sorry. Continue.
No. And for the Jets, I think conversely, you got a rookie quarterback. We know that Belichick has was Damian Harris? Let me ask you this, because I didn't fully capture all the Patriots game. Was Damian Harris like the predominant back for all 3 downs, or the day you like to do? Because I know the Patriots love to use the rotation of running backs.
Yeah. They went between James White and Damian Harris, and they had Ramondre Stevenson, but once he had that fumble, he was basically taken out of the game. He wasn't even a factor at all in the second half. So that's what ended up happening in terms of the run game.
Sweet feet's the problem, Alex.
So what'd you say?
Yeah, James White is the issue. Sweet feet. Yeah. He's going to be our issue.
Oh, absolutely.
Trying to stop the pass catcher out the backfield. That's going to be a problem, especially for our linebackers. And tight end coverage. We did okay against the tight end, so we know you guys got Hunter Henry and you got Jonnu Smith. So if we're looking at the Jets, we're going to try to do our best to stop the tight ends and try to stop the James White coming out of the backfield. But I think what the Jets are going to try to do is try to get the pressure on Mac Jones as best as possible to prevent that going through. I think that's what you got to do. You got to flurry the rookie quarterback. And I think that's what they're going to go for. Just because the front 7, we're missing our guy Carl Lawson, we're missing Gerard Davis, we're missing some of our linebacker core as well. So the best that we can do is really utilize the front 7, who showed out against Carolina. As John mentioned earlier, they did a good job at. They held Christian McCaffrey to under 100 rushing yards. Granted, he had close to 100 yards on both sides. Yeah. Granted, he had close to 100 yards for both receiving and rushing. The fact that he didn't get over 100 for either one, I consider that a big win, especially since we didn't have our full starting unit in the front 7. So that's what I see from the Jets and how they're going to try to go with the Patriots. Try to stop the run, make Mac Jones throw, and then try to put as much pressure on him as we go. But shoot, what were you going to say earlier?
I was going to say that that one of the things that I think, if you're the New York Jets fan, that's going to be watching and listening to this podcast, is keep an eye out for matchups, secondary. That is where the game will either be won or lost. Not the O-line or D-line. Receivers against the Patriots secondary. Remember, Gilmore's out. Contract dispute. So your number one corner right now is
I love that song.
So number number one corner right now for the Patriots right now is J.C. Jackson, who by the way led the NFL in interceptions last season. So when you talk about matchups, and one of the things that I do wonder is, and right now, if you're the Jets, who's your number one option at the receiver position right now? Who's your number one guy?
Corey Davis
against J.C. Jackson. There's your game right there. I'm serious.
I would say Crowder, honestly, coming back is more important. If Crowder's healthy off that COVID, he's
not going to be. I'm not even being a dick about that, honestly. He's not going to. Yeah.
I mean, he's been out a couple. Last week was, I think, precautionary. He was technically COVID free last week, but they kept him on. So I'm hoping he's back. So because your question was, what are the Patriots going to do to Zach Wilson and the Jets, right? Watching film. I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to disguise up front, and they're going to stunt on the right of our center, and they're going to take down Van Roten. That's the game, right? And they're gonna try to keep AVT to the left. If they can keep AVT and Font to the left, where no one can go, no one can hitch to the right, the Patriots are going to be fantastic because they're going to disguise, and that's where they're going to get the rookie. I mean, that's the game plan. So if you're the Jets, you have to get rid of the ball. Like, that's the name of the game. And are we going to keep Wesco, the fullback, up front? Are we going to keep, Croft blocking? Are we going to, double tight end? Say we double tight end, or we fullback tight end, and Corey Davis is doubled. It's really the game. You want to know where the game is? It's Berrios, it's Crowder, and it's Cole. I know it's tough to hear, but that at the end of the day, like, that is the game. Like, if you noticed last week, our biggest third down was to Berrios. Last year, our most reliable receiver was Crowder. I mean, all Corey Davis has to do is get double teamed, and we'll be fantastic. Like, if all he does is get double teamed, that would be the biggest win, for the Jets. And the biggest problem, man, is we couldn't get the run going against Carolina. They knew exactly what we were doing, and every time we would check out, they would check out also. And so we just couldn't establish the run. When you're talking about our depleted offensive line, the only reason why it's a little overstated is because I know Becton, the big ticket, that's our guy, and he was hurt. I totally get that. But Alex kind of hinted at it in the beginning. George Fant, not only was he the left tackle for Seattle, and he was a great one at that, he wants to play left tackle. He was upset that he got turned to right tackle despite his comments this week, which I think he's just playing a little Bill Belichick Patriots game where he said, oh, it's tough, because he's also been playing left tackle during training camp when Becton was out. You know what I mean? He had the foot injury, then he had concussion. So honestly, I am not worried about the left tackle. I'm not worried about AVT. I am very concerned about our center and right guard. And honestly, the right tackle was fine. Like, Moses was fine. So I don't think it's as crazy as everyone makes it seem. And I think everyone is giving a little bit too much credit to Mac Jones losing to Miami and saying that it was, you want to, touch that line between good and great, go ahead. But all I saw was Damian Harris and James White and some Jacoby Myers. And of course, Alex knows I'm terrified of tight ends against the Jets. That's like when I go to sleep at night, that's all I'm thinking about. Like Saturday night, that's like Sunday morning, I'm like, oh my goodness, the tight ends. We were the worst against the tight ends last year. I wanted both these tight ends, hand up, both these, a great tight ends at the Patriots signed, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. I wanted both of them. I thought they were great signings by the Patriots, although a little unconventional for the Patriots and Bill Belichick to spend all that money, especially on non-premium positions. But that's what I'm worried about. And then we have, because we have two rookie linebackers out there, and one of them has an ankle in Sherwood. So it's an issue, man. Well, our biggest issue is we can't really get movement up front. And CJ Mosley is not a blitzing linebacker. So he had about 8 blitzes last week, and he can't get there. Like, he is there to tackle the running back. Like that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's what he's not going to guard the tight end. He might be quick. He's just going to guard the running back. Okay. He's going to stop James White. He's going to stop Damian Harris. That's his job. So the other two linebackers, man, and the safeties, we have a depleted safety. Hopefully Ashton Davis comes back. But you want to ask me where the Patriots game is won? It's going to be in the tight ends and maybe like a little silly Jacoby Myers screen or James White nonsense, the Patriots way. All right, that's the one thing.
James White nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be offended or if I should be upset. Like, I think you should take that as a compliment. I mean, that won you the Super Bowl. A bunch of James White nonsense won you that Super Bowl 51. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Hell yeah. I mean, something
straight up.
Yeah, exactly. It's something the Jets don't know about, but what do I know? Anyway,
here we go.
I told you, keep that same energy.
He lost to Tua. What are we talking about?
And you lost to your former quarterback in Sam Darnold. Are you kidding me? Really? Are we having this conversation right now?
Yeah.
You lost to a guy that you thought that was going to be your future. How are we having this conversation?
Because we covered.
Oh, because you covered what? The spread?
Yeah, we're good to go. We beat expectations.
Okay.
We beat expectations. That's what that means. We beat expectations, man. It's fine. I think we came out, and I promise you, if it was flipped, if we were up 14-3 in the first half, and then all of a sudden we imploded in that second half, and we end up where we are right now, I'm singing a different tune right now. I'm like, oh my goodness, like what? Like it's over. Like we had one good half. It's a Sam Darnold, all over again. I promise you, that's really where I would have been. But I think Carolina's okay, especially on their run defense. I don't think that the Patriots are that at all. I think that they have CMAC, which is something that is a nice practice run for New England. And I think our home opener is going to give us some juice, man. I'm telling you right now, not only am I going to be there yelling my head off, right, in MetLife, I'm definitely taking Jets +6. I'm definitely taking Jets +6.
And to add on to that before I let you go, Shu, the one thing I'll say about our team going against our former quarterback is that you pointed out, I don't remember if it was on air or off air, but we have a bunch of rookies all around, from our coaching staff, from players on the field. We are the youngest team at both coaching and players. To go against the Carolina Panthers, who are a heavily veteran team, even if they have our own quarterback, that whole game plan was just had Panthers win all over it, because
it's some shiesty stuff too, man. They're not so confident switching their jersey numbers for linebackers 10 minutes before the kickoff. All right, that's some Bill Belichickian, nonsense to fool us, and it did fool. I mean, if Tom Brady, your Lord and Savior, is sitting here complaining about how jersey numbers are an issue, think about what that happens to Zach Wilson 10 minutes before the kickoff. So I think he adjusted in the second half, and I think that the public perception is Jets stink. Mekhi Becton is down. Offensive line's awful. And they're getting +6 to the Patriots in their home opener. It should be 9.5, right? It should be a touchdown. That's it. Dude, the Jets are going to win this game. It's going to be 1-1, and Bill Belichick's going to be 0-2. He's going to lose to Tua and Zach Wilson. And then I cannot wait for the newspapers that day. Signs the tight ends, spends all this money, has problems with his cornerbacks, right? Oh, no. And then loses 0-2 to a rookie quarterback on the road. Man, that's going to be beautiful. We got to bring you back on after that for the reaction pod.
I mean, like if you thought I'm fired up now, you think you want to see me up the Patriots loss, like especially against the New York freaking Jets, like absolutely not. But trash talk aside, I do think that this is going to be a real fascinating week, because here, and Alex, you live here in Boston, you know how the Boston media gets when the Patriots get off. I mean, listen, we've had 20 years of bliss and happiness. Last year was the first time that for a generation that Patriot fans have seen any sort of adversity, and we did not react very well to that. But getting off to an 0-2 start with Mac Jones, you tell me that the panic button is not going to be begun to be reached for across New England. I'm telling you. That's why I really do think there is going to be an extra level of urgency for the New England Patriots this week in practice. And I do think that they are going to win this game, but it's going to be by a field goal, though.
Ooh, field goal. Well, let me ask you this, because
the Jets cover.
Hold on. Because John just whimsically gave you the game plan on how to beat the Jets. I want to know what the Jets have to do now to take down the Patriots. So, Shu, you watch this team day in and day out. I have to hear it on the radio. I have to hear it when I'm driving. I have to hear about the Patriots left and right. All right. I went to law school downtown. I went to school on Stewart Street. All right.
I know exactly where that is. Oh yeah.
So yeah, right by the MBTA.
Yeah, right by Boylston, right by the Commons.
Yep, yeah. Right there. So when I was down there, I got to see every parade that Boston had, and not by choice. So please, I want to hear what the Jets have to do. What do you see the Jets having to do in order to take down the Patriots?
Don't turn over the football. And then number 2, really do a great job in terms of like pass rushing. I do think that is going to be a real necessity come the game. And one of the things that I'm most interested in is I really do think special teams, if it didn't matter in week 1, is going to matter in this game, because the first maybe 5 minutes of this game, I think, is going to be a feel-out process, see where both teams are in terms of offense, defense, and And I do believe that special teams is going to matter, especially the kick return game, because Gunnar Olszewski, he had a solid game on Sunday, but I'm not sure as how well is the Jets special teams going to be able to maintain or at least contain the Patriots return game. And I do think that because it's going to be a close game, and I do think that there's going to be two factors as to why. First factor is the play of both rookie quarterbacks. They have a game under the belt, and it's going to be the second game of their NFL career. And the second one is I think defense, they're going to have a bit more of a factor in this game than both teams' defenses did in week one. I think the Jets defense has an opportunity to make some noise, but I do also believe that the Patriots secondary is going to be there for the taking to create some timely turnovers and hopefully convert them into points.
Yeah. I totally agree. And we've been preaching, especially on this podcast, man, we've been preaching special teams because, you know, we, as you said, we have rookies everywhere. The only veteran coach we have is our special teams coach, Brant Boyer.
Yeah.
And for us punter, especially, we kind of we spent a high, asset in a draft pick on a punter last year. And he was our best player. He was literally our MVP last year. No joke. And he got hurt on our first punt last week. And he's out he's on IR now. And Matt Ammendola, a guy who he had to win the kicking competition, who we've never heard of, now punted in his first ever game. Didn't have the hang time, but man, he got the job done. And dude, like stuff like that is what is, I mean, as you know, honestly, like watching, being a diehard Patriots, being in Boston media, having to watch it, like the special teams and how that momentum changes everything. So we actually got the famous Saints punter, Moorhead, coming in as our punter this week. So that'll be fun. We do have, some reinforcements coming in, some backup offensive line depth. But I think what's most important coming back is Keelan Cole, who's been who is our punt returner and our kick returner, because I completely 100% agree with you. This is going to be a sloppy game. Two defensive coaches going up against each other. They don't want to turn over the ball. They're both going to turn over the ball.
Exactly.
Right? And it's gonna be a sloppy division game. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be 20-16. I'm hoping that it's the Jets on top, but if it's 20-16 Patriots, I'm not going to be shocked. But that's my score, 20-16.
I don't know why.
I'm saying Jets. I'm saying Jets, of course, because I'm going to be there yelling. So I would never take the Patriots in a million years. So
I don't know why, but my heart is already in my throat, and it's not even game day yet. So I'm already anxious about this because I know it is going to be you just say sloppy game. I'm just like, oh God, I know it's going to be.
Of course. That's the only way we can win, man. The only way the Jets are going to win games this year is if we keep it, low, sloppy to the floor and have Zach Wilson just perform, when he can. Honestly, we got to run the ball. We got to kill clock. We got to stop the run. We got to no big plays and just keep getting those third and shorts. That's the only way the Jets are going to win games, man.
I don't know if you're talking about a football game or a slimy club for a second.
I mean, he might be talking about one of those slimy clubs in Hoboken for all I know. But what do I know? Listen. We're all from New York or tri-state region or whatnot. And if any of you have out there's ever gone out to Hoboken on a Saturday night, let's just say things get rather interesting on the ladies' side. So we do tend to see some slimy things. I mean, pun intended or not, take it however you want to take it. So there's a reason why I mentioned the clubs of Hoboken being slimy, so to speak.
Speaking of slimy, who's the Patriots kicker?
Oh gosh, don't even get me started. my kicker right now. Oh man, how do I feel about this guy? I don't know.
Yeah, how do you feel about him? Let us know. He's our friend.
He's your friend until he starts freaking nailing like kicks and whatnot. Good God, why did you have to do this to me? Why did you
depending on what coach you talk to, he may be a folk hero.
He might be.
Yeah, he's a folk hero. Listen. At least he's not the Cowboys kicker who left 7 points on the board in that week 1 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you got to give him that.
I have strong advice for you, and I know you guys got Danny Woodhead out of nowhere, but I have strong advice for any team. And I was we have some friends, from the Fila Atlanta podcast, and we were trying to give them advice. If players are getting cut from the Jets, stay away. Don't pick up our left guard from last year. Don't pick up the kicker who can't make our team. Just don't do it. Okay, don't pick up like Carolina. Don't pick up a linebacker who we don't want to sign in Louisville. Just don't do it, guys. It's not gonna work out. It's just some word of advice, man. So I'm looking forward to Nicky Folk back in MetLife. I honestly am. Like that for me is a beauty. Like he is going to miss wide left. I've seen it 1,000 times. I'm praying.
I'm praying to God that Quinn Norton actually finds his way to to freaking not lose his way, like he get lost somewhere in the MTA system. Like, come on, like please don't do that. Like
I promise you, find the bet for Nick Folk missing an extra point. Find that bet and hit it, dude. Nick Folk coming back to the MetLife, dude. Hit that bet.
Oh God.
You're close to Rhode Island, man. Just go down there and go.
I know. I don't even want to look for him, even if it was the last lady alive. I'm good. I'm real good with that.
What's your score? What's your score on Sunday? On Sunday?
I do think it's going to be. It's definitely going to be 24-21. It's going to come down to a field goal, and for the reasons that I already mentioned, I definitely do think that special teams is going to be a factor in the kicking game, man. Quinn Norton, please, right. Pretty please, right. Make your kicks.
What do you got, Alex?
Man, I'm gonna agree with you, John. I mean, I could punch it down a little bit. I could see this just being an ugly game. I mean, I'm gonna go with I think the field goal range is probably right. I guess I go 17-14. Was it 17-14? That's where I'm gonna go.
That's a clean score.
That's probably where it's gonna be. Yeah.
Pats.
No, Jets, baby. What the hell? I called it last week, man. What are we doing over here?
Oh,
he caught that L like Chad Pennington back in 2004.
Oh, please. Talking about Jets Patriots games, man. Honestly, I'll tell you why I really hate the Patriots, right? Just because I feel like we're done with the actual game.
Oh yeah.
It's not even about number 12 winning. It's really not about him winning the division, because that's super annoying, right? That this team
super annoying.
But that's not why I hate him, right? That's not why I despise him. Yeah. It's that even when he's winning, he's coming out and talking smack about the New York Jets, right? And anytime the Patriots do anything, Bill Belichick goes back and he talks about the New York Jets, or somehow relates it back to New York. That's why in my heart of hearts, I'm so thankful for the Giants, right? They stopped the avalanche of the undefeated Patriots, right? Winning all these Super Bowls. But there's this stink for Belichick in New York. He hates New York. There's a disdain for him in New York. And so really that's what it's all about, right? So it's not just the Jets and the Giants, it's the whole city. And I feel like Brady has that too. So it's not even about the winning. It's just more about those two dudes, right?
I don't think it's New York. That's the only part where I disagree. I believe because Jet fans have to remember that he really made his mark with the New York Giants in the 1980s. It's not New York. Anytime he talks about the Giants, and I watched some of his interactions, his face literally lights. He goes into a whole different trash because he was the linebackers coach, defensive coordinator for those great New York Giants teams in the late 80s and 1990 as well. He was the guy. So he has a very special place for the New York Giants. It's the New York Jets, on the other hand, in 1999, where he said, you know what? You can kiss the undersize of his ass, as he said, screw you. I'm taking my talents to New England because you wouldn't let me have complete control over the roster. So therefore, I'm shipping off to Boston. Whoa.
Listen. The only thing I'll say about that is they weren't completely wrong. I mean, yes, Bill Belichick, fantastic coach. Also, Bill Belichick, worst drafter in history. Like, so it's fine. And also, he has been getting some cuts that were maybe not this whole, let me cut him 1 year before he is bad again. And it seems sometimes he's cutting them 3, 4, 5 years before the cuts, right? Where's Chandler Jones? Where's Gronk? Where's Brady? You know what I'm saying? All this Gilmore stuff, he's not buying in. And then we have Cam Newton, who you want to talk to me about last year. The most laughable thing to me about last year is when Cam Newton walks through that door and all of New England, going back to the Super Bowl, baby. This is it. Cam Newton, Bill Belichick. And then once you guys start losing, it's just a down year, no problem. And so I'm so happy you have Mac Jones. Ask Alex. I've been calling Mac Jones to New England for literally 2 years. I've been saying it's either be Mac Jones or somehow Matt Ryan. Like those for some, like bring back the BC boy. And like those two cats, I really thought one of them was going to end up on New England post Brady. It just happened to be Mac Jones. I'm ready for him. I'm ready to hate him so bad. Like I am ready to hate him. Trust me. But I'm hoping he gives me a reason to, but
he will on Sunday.
I think the only people I'm going to hate, man, are your tight ends, dude. I think I'm just going to sit there and stare at Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith and just be like, come on, dude, this is so bad. So that's really how I see this game going. I still hate New England. I still hate Tom Brady. And I just, you know what makes me even more sick, man, is like not only do you have this love for them and this love for the Patriots, the Celtics, and all this stuff, and then you just try to come and share the New York Yankees with us. And I don't know, man. Something sickens me about that. Something sickens me about you adding the Yankees to your mix of Celtics and Bruins and Patriots. There's something gross about that, man. You want to tell us why you wouldn't infect the Yankees with
because the Yankees were my first professional sports team's love. That's why. And I mean, the Yankees, I mean, I'm not one of those obnoxious Yankee fans that are like the typical spoiled millennial type. No, but rather like I'm very logical, I'm very practical, but I'm also like now that I've been a broadcaster now for a few years now, that I have an unbiased appreciation for the team, but I'm also really harsh. The most harsh of any sports team anywhere towards New York Yankees, because I expect them to win. Although for some reason this year they are fighting tooth and nail to actually make the playoffs, and currently, as it currently stands, are a half game behind the Toronto Blue Jays, who won't lose a freaking game. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays, best team in the American League. How do you like those apples? But as far as the New York Yankees go, they have been my baseball team since birth, and they will be my baseball team when I am laid into my grave. So with that being said, Bruins, I grew up a hockey fan, but I watched a ton of Rangers, Devils like growing up, but there was something about the Bruin, that the beer, like that really just, you know, kind of like sucked me in, like, you know, watching Joe Thornton back in the day when he was a Bruin, and Patrice Bergeron when he was first drafted in 2003. Okay. And you know, like and freaking like Nylander and Marco Sturm, like watching those guys, it just sucked me in, and ever since I've just been a fan. Like I just can't help that. But I was never a Knicks fan, and the Knicks are truly the unwanted stepsister scum of New York City sports. And yes, Alex, I am absolutely trashing the New York Knicks, despite the fact that they've actually had a really wonderful season last season, and they seem to be on a cup and up and up. I'll give them that. You know, you have a head coach.
I will see you for the home opener, sir.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the Knicks boo Trae Young, who still managed to get that Knicks fan base riled up the same way I used to watch Reggie Miller do it in the mid-late 90s as a kid.
And don't worry about Trae Young. Worry about Kemba dropping a 40.
Oh, hell no. On one knee? On one knee?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Who do you think he is? Willis Reed? Hell no. Don't delude yourself, please.
Oh, I'm excited for the Kemba.
You don't know that Bronx energy, baby. Give that Bronx
energy.
Yeah,
that Bronx energy is special, all right. Yeah, a lot of crazy hobos up in the Bronx, I see. Yeah, and listen, I'm a Brooklyn guy, so like I will talk trash about the Bronx all day, every day. There's a reason why I haven't dated anybody from the Bronx yet. So
BX baby.
So like
BX baby.
Brooklyn all day, every day. Brooklyn all day, every day. You can't. I listen. I listen. I love to up to NYC. Like, I mean, even though I've been living in Boston for a few years now, but like NYC in itself, like that's my home. Like that's my hometown. Like it's where I'm from. Like, I mean, yeah, I support a lot of like Boston sports teams and so forth, but New York has really literally made me who I am. And I still have that New York attitude, that New York mentality, that grind, like the get up and go get it. But you know, like you like all three of you like understand that. Like it's literally something that you either have or you don't have. And it's, you know, and it's something that I pride myself on telling people like, yo, I'm from New York. That's me. Like, I don't pretend to be from here. Like, I'm from New York. I mean, I love Boston, but New York
they take that real serious in Boston too. Like you have to specify the town you're from. Like,
yeah, you have to. Like,
for a couple of years, so I can't even say I'm from Boston. Like, no, I'm from this town next to this city.
Exactly. Like, you can't say like, oh, I'm from Boston. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Shrewsbury. No, you're from Shrewsbury. You're not from Boston. There's a difference. It's like a New Yorker saying, oh, I'm from New York. Oh, where I'm from? Oh, I'm from Schenectady. You're an upstate kid. You're not from New York. You're not from NYC. You're from New York State. There's a difference, my guy. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, yo, stop.
Like Hooder from the Hawks. That was the big news all throughout the playoffs. Oh, Hooder from coming back to New York. Like, dude, he's from Hooder. Yeah, he's from, I was like, dude, he's from Clinton. Where is it from? Clinton Park.
Clifton Park.
Yeah, like ridiculous. So yeah, so we feel you there. Do you think the Celtics are gonna finish in the playoffs?
Honestly, I see them being maybe a 7th or an 8th seed at best. I mean, at best.
So 10th seed. Yeah, you're with me.
No,
you're just being nice.
7th or 8th. Right. 7th or 8th.
I like the realism. Because I guess there's some fans who are thinking that Marcus Smart's going to transform this team being the starting point guard, which
No, he's not. And Celtics fans in the city makes me freaking sick when they talk about Marcus Smart. He's irreplaceable. Shut the hell up. Yes, he is.
Hold on. Marcus Smart is very important to the Celtics culture. Like, you need Marcus Smart. You need Marcus Smart on this team, in my opinion, because
you do. But I don't need him chucking 3-pointers like he's throwing it from the other side of the Hudson. I don't need that crap. I don't need him scoring 40 points and then he's 3 for 25 from the 3-point range.
Sounds about right.
Like, that's the kind. We
call that Westbrook syndrome.
Seriously, that's the kind of nonsense that truly pisses me off. Yeah. Especially with green teamers. Oh my gosh, his value can't be overstated. Look at him. See, he dies for loose balls. Look at him. He defends well against Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, he gives you 25 one night and then he goes on a 1 for 18 cold streak the very next game. Which one you gonna get? You're gonna get a Jekyll and Hyde type of guy, or you want someone who's gonna be consistent? I'm sick and tired of it, which is why when they gave him that contract just a month or so ago, I was like, I hate this contract with a passion. Why?
It was a tough contract.
Why?
If you want to keep him, but it was a tough contract.
I hated that contract.
It's all right. I got 2 questions I want to follow. One, because we're going Boston sports now. We're done with the Jets Patriots. I want to know how you felt about the biggest nepotism I've ever seen in sports with Brad Stevens getting the major promotion from head coach to president of basketball operations, where some people say this is the greatest move of all time. And others are just like, I see it as nepotism, like major nepotism. Like you're afraid to lose this guy, so you just give him the ultimate promotion because you need his basketball brain.
You want me to give you my honest opinion?
Sure.
Both of you?
Yep.
That's why we're here.
This is white privilege at its finest.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right.
Because I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think. This is white privilege at its finest. Because number one, this guy has no sort of experience in the front office at all. He's been a head coach in college. He's been a head coach in the NBA. You gave him that job because he still had term, and you didn't have the balls to fire him. And knowing that his message has grown stale in that locker room over the course of the last 2 years. And this past season, it really came to head when you weren't reaching guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Those are your two guys that the Celtics are praying that they are going to be the cornerstone of the franchise. And both players have become superstars, but they've become more individual-like players and not team players. That's my problem. And when you have a guy like Brad Stevens in the front office, my first question becomes this. When it comes time to make tough decisions, do you have the guts to make those tough decisions? The answer is no so far. You gave Marcus Smart a contract that is widely ridiculed in this city by logical Celtic fans. It's logical because you have those that'll say, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh my God, everything is all good in Celtics land. No, it's not. No, it's not. When the next time that you get mad that Marcus Smart is not producing consistently offensively, keep that same damn energy. Keep that same energy for the same guy who will give you effort on the defensive side of the basketball. However, this is the same guy that you can't rely on as being your best secondary scorer. He's not that guy. You have delusional Celtic fans who say, "Oh, yes, you don't know he's not."
Don't worry, dude. You got Enes Kanter. What's the problem?
I don't hate Enes Kanter. I actually like him. I've had the privilege of meeting him once.
Yeah, as a human being.
Yes,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
I've met him once at Friday Prayer once, and he's a really, 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 really awesome guy. Why did we bring him back?
Why? Because, man, look, man, he has 2 condos, one in Portland and one in Boston, and he wants to use them every other year.
I mean, okay? that was Taco Fall, but he's no longer in the Celtics organization. But but hey,
yeah, I mean, that's the whole juxtaposition with the Celtics roster. You have a lot of one-sided guys. Like Enes, who's only offense, no defense. You got Smart, who's all defense, no offense. You really have. I don't know who's going to score. Like, who's going to score for your team besides, of course, your 2 main dudes, Tatum and Brown. I mean, of course, that's your whole thing. I'm just going to leave you with one last Celtics question. Is Jaylen Brown here for life?
No.
Yeah.
Because I do think that if the decision had to be made between you can only keep one between Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, they're going to pick Tatum. Brown gets 100%. Traded. And I felt that way over the last year and a half. This is not a shot against his talent, but rather after last season, have a very difficult time believing that they can win a championship together. We're not talking about this as if this is a Philadelphia 76ers situation between Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. That's not what we're talking about here.
Oh, they're cool.
We're talking about Brown and Tatum, in which that they are among the best duos in the Eastern Conference. Top 3, top 4, max. However, as far as the culture goes, the culture of winning, I have a very difficult time believing that they are going to be able to win a winner here. When you look up and down the Celtics roster, and you're like, I'm not really sure I really like what I see here. Yeah, we drafted Peyton Pritchard. And we also have young guys like Robert Williams, and then as well as you look up and down his roster, you just
like Peyton Pritchard
Peyton
Pritchard.
Do you like Pritchard?
The jury for me is still out on the guy, but I heard he scored 92 points in a freaking summer league game. But it's like, woo, yay, summer league game, impressed me. Woo, not so. I don't hate him, but he's still got a lot of developing to do. But I do think it's going to be super interesting to see how it all like comes together in terms of like the roster, and as well as the young guys versus like the vets on this team.
Okay, all right. I like that response, and not necessarily just because I'm a Knicks fan. I like the actual honesty in what you think of like the team, not the everything is perfect in Celtics world. Which, as you know, I live up here and I have neighbors who are Celtics fans, and next thing I know, I just hear Marcus Smart is going to be, the second coming of freaking Bob Cousy over here. So hilarious.
Which is insulting this, right? Because he's not even in the same league as Bob Cousy. He's a Hall of Famer.
Well, everyone gets into the Hall of Fame. That's
that's true.
sad.
That's why
That really
for
is
everyone.
true.
That's another story. But Shu, I actually have a career question for you because
Sure.
you are a New Yorker. You're a New Yorker through and through. I hear it in your voice. I hear it in your persona. I hear it in the mentality, and I love it. How is it? How did you acclimate to being a Boston sports radio personality, being from New York? I know Bostonians have a certain feeling towards New Yorkers, and especially when it comes to a New Yorker talking about Boston sports, there's just some sort of level of or lack of trust, really, to begin with. So how did you win people over being an outsider coming in, and what's that transition been for you?
Being myself. Like, I already have that attitude. I'm like, I don't give a rat's ass about what you think of me. You don't gotta like me. For all I know, I'm very comfortable in my own skin. As far as winning trust over, if people can't trust you with you being your authentic self, then you already lost 90% in the battle, because radio is about being entertaining, but being your authentic self. Like you have seen throughout this podcast so far, the different spectrums. There's a serious side of me. There's a side of me that control. There's a side of me I've showed you different like spectrums and so forth, different, temperatures. I can adjust it high, I can adjust it low, I can adjust it over the middle. In Boston, it's like they have they're very privy to outsiders. And I fully understand that. And the thing that I really do think about, especially being a Boston sports radio person and broadcaster, is how will people receive me? I've had people tell me you shouldn't announce that you're a Yankee fan. I've still done it.
Yeah,
I've still done it because, I'm a Yankee fan. You don't gotta like me. Mm-hmm. You can decide to turn me off. But here's the reality: you're still gonna follow me on Twitter. You're still gonna watch my videos. You're still gonna comment. You're still gonna try to interact with me on social media. So either way, I got your attention. And here's what's funny: I actually had a conversation with the program director the other day in San Francisco, and he was like, one thing I've noticed about you, and I've been following you for well over a year. This is a program director for 95.7 The Game, one of the preeminent sports radio stations in the country. He was like, you do a really great job of getting people to react to you. You don't.
I can see that.
Like you don't like the point about sports radio is about getting people to react. You are who you are. You are authentic. You say what you think, and it's true. I say what I think. I'm not sitting here creating a concoction of, well, let me give you a little dash of cayenne pepper or a dash of butter and salt. Like no. What you get is what you're gonna get. It's served. You like it, great. If not, starve, because you're gonna come back to it at some point. So my mentality is that I'm not here to be anyone else. There's already enough Mike Felger wannabes out there. And for Alex, you live in Boston, so you understand who I'm talking about. Felger and Mass. Like, there's already enough Felgers out there. There's already enough like people who try to be anyone and everyone else other than themselves. And I'm a firm believer that authenticity is my calling card, and who I am is going to define me as a broadcaster and as a radio host. So for me, coming into and moving here to a market like Boston, where I understand that they're not the most trusting of New Yorkers talking Boston sports, but let's be honest about something here. I'm not the first outsider that's moved to Boston and talk Boston sports. Like Felger, he's from Wisconsin. He moved to Boston, went to BU in the early 90s. He's talking Boston sports. But yeah, he's a Packers fan. He's a Brewers fan. He's a Bucks fan. He's a Milwaukee kid through and through. So the point that I'm making is that I don't think the concern for me is based on the fact that, oh, you're from New York, but can you talk about the local teams without your bias getting in the way? And I know for a fact that I do that all very well.
Yeah. That's very important. Not just, I'm sure it's tougher where you are, but just in general. Like you got to in life, like you got to be able to articulate and get your point across. And even if it's completely on the opposite side of the spectrum, think about where we've been the last, 5-6 years as a society, right? And not to get too deep on everyone, but it's the same idea. And I mean, I lived out there too, and I feel like it was enemy territory out there. And I had my New York plates, right? And as soon as I speak, they know I'm not from there. I don't look like I'm from, So there is a certain hostility just because as soon as they know you're from New York. And so I think honestly I think it's great, especially when you're able to have that sort of tension, but just like keep it like under the rug and be able to conversate. For example, when I was living out there, again, I was living in Framingham, working in a firm out there, and I was going to Yankees Red Sox series, like the whole series by myself. Like I would just get seats, go there with my Yankee jersey, and I'd have a great time. Like, and even the bad interactions were fun, right? Like I had one time some like, no joke, she had to be like 85, an 85-year-old lady. I had to be. She started, she couldn't even look at me. Like I was like all the way on like I think like row 4 or so on the third base baseline. She in like those box seats, right? She couldn't even look to the left, to the point where she literally like she started mumbling, and I was like, and I started joking, like, and now like we're all laughing at her, like at this poor old lady, because like she's like freaking out that I'm sitting in my away Yankees jersey. I wasn't even wearing pinstripes. Like, take it easy, lady. And it was so funny. Like she literally had to move and stuff. But like even that sort of environment, I really I love that, because I'm also myself. Like at the games, like I'm gonna cheer, like I'm gonna like heckle, like playfully heckle with like the 8-year-old. Who's like, we were down, we were up in the standings, but we were losing the game. He's like, oh, look, Yankees stink. And I was like, look at the green monster, like teaching him how to read the standings. There's always like this little fun tension. So I think it's actually really cool that you're able to manage not only day to day, but I can't imagine callers, man. I can't imagine callers after, especially during baseball season. Where they're yelling at you about the Yankees and Sox. I'm also a little jealous, and that you're able to have those interactions as a Yankee fan. And I'm sure, if anyone ever gets at you, it's really valuable to have that knowledge of inner division. And that's why we have you on for this Jets Patriots game, because it's fun to we play each other twice a year. Red Sox Yankees play each other 17 times a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, So, it's always good to have that intimate experience, man.
It's amazing. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that I love watching sports. I love talking about sports, especially baseball is my number one sport, period. Like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, how the Yankees, they are my first love. Like, and I've been married to them since I was born, and I'm going to die being married to the Yankees. So, for
what's
me,
this year look like? What's this year look like?
Oh, for the Yankees?
Yeah.
You're talking to Yankees fans here, so we all want to know.
Honestly, frankly, I see this team missing the playoffs.
Oh,
and like, no, I really do. Like this team, I just feel like this team right now is at a place where consistency has been their enemy this season. Even after their 13-game winning streak, this team reverted back to its old ways, and I was like, this team, if this team is going to find any sort of like footing in its path to getting to October, they're really going to have to like scratch and claw their way to the postseason. And once they get there, if they get there, I don't know if they're going to have much success, because let's face it, the Toronto Blue Jays, they are scary. And it's not just the offense. The bullpen has been outstanding. Excuse me. Andrew Romano has been an absolute force out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. And then don't forget, you still got the Tampa Bay Rays in your own division. They're better than you. You got the Chicago White Sox right now, and a White Sox team that is being overlooked big time in the AL Central. And then, as much as we hate to talk about this team I'm about to mention, the Houston Astros, this is a team that's playing with fire at this point in regards to No one thinks we're a good team. They think because we cheated that we're supposed to fall off the face of the earth. And Dusty Baker is one hell of a manager. So you have all of these teams. And if the Yankees were to go up against the Astros, and the Astros have had their number now in 2 of the last 4 postseasons, don't like their chances. If they were to go up against the Tampa Bay Rays, don't like their chances. If they were to go up against the Toronto Blue Jays, and I think that's the team in the American League that no team should want to face right about now, man, I kind of like their chances. But if I'm being completely honest, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is absolutely. I mean, I watched his father throughout more than half my life. I'm not afraid to say that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. may just be better than his father, and that's saying a lot. But
I think Vlad himself would say that.
Yeah, I think
senior.
Yeah, like it's scary what we're watching Vladimir Guerrero Jr. transform into right now. And by the way, as of this recording, he's right there for the American League Triple Crown, which hasn't been won since 2012 when Miguel Cabrera won it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he might somehow beat Ohtani, who is pitching and hitting home runs. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
Allow me to be the optimist, dude. Allow me to be the optimist for a second, because baseball, you're saying it's your favorite sport. I love baseball, especially when it comes to Yankee season. I work in the Bronx. I live at Yankee Stadium once the playoffs start. And I'm a little nervous about having the wild card game here, but let me just put some perspective in it, right? Because a couple months ago, Ohtani, like you said, was the walk away MVP. I mean, odds were minus a zillion. He's the best thing to ever walk on this earth. And now all of a sudden it's Vlad Guerrero, who's about to, make history and, maybe steal it. A couple months ago, the Yankees couldn't even spell playoffs. Like, if you told me the Yankees
playoffs,
exactly, for 100%.
And if you're talking about playoffs,
we're trying to fire Boone. We're trying to fire.
Oh yeah, Cashman. Give it to everybody. Give it to Boone. Give it to Cashman.
It's all.
I was the leader of that club. Fire Boone. Fire Cashman.
That was 6 weeks ago. Like, look at your calendar. That was 6 weeks ago. And then midway through that, all of a sudden, Yankees are the best team ever. Odds to win the the AL East.
The AL East.
Jump all the way up to win the World Series. Odds, all this stuff. So. I don't know at what point we have to realize it's all gonna, like Seinfeld says, balance out. And if I would have told you 6 weeks ago the Yankees are gonna be right there, half a game out of the wild card, you would have been ecstatic. Forget the division. Yeah. Tampa win the division. You want to say the Blue Jays are super, super duper hot and can't lose a game? We're a half game behind them. You're saying the Yankees are the worst team, we're imploding, and the Blue Jays are the best team, we're a half game out. So you know what I'm trying to say? And so I expect the Yankees. Cole is hot. Cole's hot now. He finally got it together. Cole's hot. I expect the Yankees to win the wild card, sweepstakes, get the home game, win the game. And then we're in for a battle, dude. We're in for a battle because we're already down Cole. We're probably going to be going into Tampa, and then we'll talk. But for me, man, Yankees going to make the playoffs. Allow me to be your optimist there, especially as a diehard baseball fan. We'll be keeping in touch there for sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad we could actually agree on that. At first, I was like, this is kind of weird. A little petri dish of Yankees and everything else. But actually, I think this is good. We could bond on the Yankees. You can be upset with me after Sunday. You can be upset with me after Sunday.
We can bond over the Yankees, but I would absolutely, I will trash the Jets every chance I get. I will make fun of the New York Knicks every chance I get. And do you follow hockey?
I'm a die easy Rangers fan. I'm a playoff Rangers fan. Oh, that's honest. Okay. That's honest.
If I'm going to be honest, if you want me to be honest, I'm actually a Bruins fan.
Yeah, I'm definitely a playoff hockey fan. I'm more of a soccer guy. Come on, man. Hockey was introduced late into my life, so I'm just a die easy.
Fair enough. Die
and get me on. And I'm with the rugby over here. I am watching Major League Rugby because they just started that up not too long ago. So nice. Shout out to the Rooney team. Wow. Or another orange and blue team I can root for.
Nice. I only watch soccer when it's the World Cup, and it looks like the team US is going to qualify, and they have like absolutely nasty doing these qualifiers. So like I give them a lot of credit considering that 4 years ago they were the absolute freaking embarrassment of the international soccer world. They didn't even qualify for the World Cup, but this time around they look absolutely explosive. They look dangerous. They're top 10 in the world. So I'm excited to see like how they are going to like bounce back, especially after the lackluster that they had in 2018 for sure.
Your mouth to God's ear, man. I was in Russia for that World Cup following Egypt around. I went to the Euros. I'm a big Soccer International fan. Nothing hurt more than the fact that I was traveling Russia and I couldn't go to USA games because we stunk too bad. So I'm with you, man. I really hope we get out there in Qatar and make some noise.
And on that note, I'll end it there because I'm not a soccer fan like that. I will watch when it comes to the Olympics and when it comes to the World Cup. But other than that, I do not watch soccer on the daily. So on that note, Shu, please let our listeners know where they can find you and all the projects that you have coming up. And thank you again for coming on the show.
It is my sincere honor and privilege. Thank you guys for having me on. You can listen to the Shukri Wrights Show on 91.5 FM, WMFO in Medford. By the way, major news. You guys are going to hear it first, but I'm going to announce it on Twitter tomorrow. The Shukri Wrights Show, which had been pre-recorded for the last year and a half, is returning live with phone calls at the end of this month. So you're gonna hear. So follow me on Twitter at Shukri Wrights at SHUKRIWRIGHTS. For further more information and detail, and as well as the Know Your Rights Show on 100.1 FM WBRS will be done in studio beginning next week. So I am officially about to make a monster comeback in terms of doing live radio. So for those of you that are in Boston or Greater Boston, listen or stream online to listen to the shows. And as I mentioned, the announcement is going to be made on Twitter. It'll probably be made on Thursday, September 16th. So follow me on Twitter for that. And that's where you can find me, and as well as the Shukri Wrights podcast. Subscribe. You can listen to it on iHeartRadio and the Odyssey app and wherever else you get your podcasts, and watch podcast episodes on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which is basically my name.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to calling in with the New York flavor, man.
Of course. Bring it on.
Yeah. Talk about some Mac Jones when he's down in the dumps. You're not going anywhere now. You're live, baby.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're getting calls from both of us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Getting calls from both of us on this. Maybe our video producer too. He may call in. Who knows? Because he's a big Jets fan as well.
You're more than welcome to bring it.
Well, congratulations, Shu. Great to have you back live and back on the radio. Can't wait to listen. And once again, thank you for coming on. And for our listeners out there, you know what to do. This is the call. But before I get into the call, we do have a Madden giveaway. We have a Madden MVP giveaway, which, come on, guys. We all know you guys wanted that Madden new MVP edition. We all know you got PlayStation, Xbox out there. We got the MVP edition, which means that it's compatible with the PS4, the PS5, or the Xbox One, or the Xbox Series X. So you know what to do. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And while you're out there, hit the bell and hit the like button. On top of that, please make sure to follow us on one of our social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Take a screenshot that you subscribed on YouTube and followed us on one of our accounts. Send us the email to knicksjetsetcetera@gmail.com. Tell us which platform you use for playing video games, and you'll be entered in to win the Madden MVP edition. Now to the actual call to action. Please make sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel because you like us, okay? And please hit that notification bell.
And you don't care about Madden.
I love Madden.
Exactly. And on top of that, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please make sure to give us a 5-star review and to leave us a comment. Please let us know what you think of the pod. It helps us out. We want to make sure that we build this community the right way. And if you don't listen to us on Apple Podcasts, it's okay. Why? I'll tell you why. We're on Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Alexa, you name it, we are there. And last but not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Like I said, we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We even got a TikTok. Please follow the TikTok page, okay? Our audio producer is going to be doing some Knicks content soon. We're going to try to get him to do some Jet stuff.
Our newly verified audio producer, who was really excited about that.
Nice.
Shu, we thank you very much. And let's go Jets, baby. Let's go Jets. 0-2 Billy B.
Go Pats. Let's go. I thank you guys for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure and a thrill to do this podcast episode. And I really appreciate the time. And this has been absolutely a blast.
Absolutely. Shoot. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.